And that shit ain't never come by you for real. Damn. Ain't no second chances. You can't come back in. We ain't cool, we can't be friends. Ain't no reminiscing.
Why do I always be the bigger person? I just want someone to show me that I'm truly worth it. Got a lot of things that always go unnoticed. I'm too busy being judged from people who ain't really worth it. Yeah, I get played, I'm so hurt. Cause I wanna know the truth. Are we really a thing? Is it really me and you? Why did I trust people that told me THD? The problem is you.
Never thought that I'd be sitting with the shawty trying to talk a lot and get on.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And once again, we're here on 95 South TV. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without us, without him, there'll be no us. You know what I'm saying? Next, I want to introduce my right-hand man, your baby mama favorite host, you know what I'm saying, Barry White Jr. voice himself, Jacob the Great. What's going on, brother?
What up, man? What up, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, man. Another day to get it right, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So go ahead and introduce this young man so we can go ahead and get this interview cracking.
Oh, man, we have the mayor of Blackwood, South Carolina, brother Sloan Griffin in the building. And, man, we gonna chop it up, man, in the world of the political forum that people may not know about, man. So what's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, brother? Brother Iconic, King Jacob, thank y'all for having me on the show this evening. Me and Jacob go way back, man. Me and Jacob can talk about all the things in the past. If you want to know something about me, King Jacob know it about me. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I also thank God for this opportunity and the opportunity to come down the road. So, hey, brother, it's always an honor to be here talking with good brothers like yourself, and while representing this great town that I serve here in Blackwood, South Carolina.
So, man, your journey has been very phenomenal, man. From being a fireman, a regional director for FEMA, a city councilman, and now you're a mayor. So, man, how did all that shape you for the position that you're in now?
When I think back a lot, and it's funny you brought that up. I was talking to a good friend of mine earlier, and oftentimes she kind of reminds me or make me remember some of my journey pieces. And when I look at where I came to where I'm at now, in the political world, I often get hit about who are you? You're not who you say you are. And those things make me think back to that humble beginning. As a fireman, I responded to those needs. We all know what firefighters do. We know what the fire department serves in our community. But then when you transform that and you want better in your life, you want better for the vision that you have ultimately for yourself, those positions moving up from being a fireman, fire marshal, done some investigation pieces, a little bit of law in there, man, all the way up to the highest level of FEMA. A lot of people don't even know that some of those other in-between pieces. As a regional coordinator for DHEC, I served down on the coastal area of South Carolina in the PD for medical response. So every time hurricanes came up, tropical storms, floods, hospitals need those types of expertise on how to really get those critical patients out of there, stopping certain services all the way to DOT as their emergency manager through COVID. I was there through COVID, had the chance to work on the governor's panel and advise on certain things. So, man, it's been a journey. It's been a blessing. Even earned my degree in fire administration and emergency management. And went back to the FEMA life. I'm back in the FEMA life now since me and you talked, Jacob. I'm back in there now. That duty called me back in, and I was just, despite everything going on, It's a testament, especially in this political environment, to be reappointed to my FEMA slot. I haven't even put that out into now, that I was just reappointed for 3 more years in that slot. So I'm now serving as a recovery chief. And I'm like third in charge of disaster response. And it was my last one where I led five hurricanes. So it's been a journey, all along serving the people here in Blackwood, um, trying to get over some hurdles and just lead. Leadership has been the foundation, but that foundation didn't start just by winning an election. And you know that, Jacob, my whole family lineage there in the community, so back home in Greenwood. So I have to give that respect and honor to them as well.
Right, right. So man, when it comes to community development, zoning, and education,
Hmm.
what what do our people as a community need to know that they really don't understand? Because a lot of people don't go to the council meetings and the county meetings and even the school board meetings and stuff like that. So and you've been on that front line of working with all those political officials.
Hmm.
What are some things that you know that we need to know that people may not know because it changes all the time.
It does, and really, what we need to be doing as Black folks is keeping it like you said. When I look across the audience, sometime here at home, I may see one or two, and those are diehard citizens, supporters of me, and I appreciate them. I also know that sometimes scheduling comes into play with folks, but here's where we mess up in the African American community is that we oftentimes get caught up in that realm of not understanding zoning when we go in to buy something. We look at opportunities, we look at land, and we don't really understand. Yes, you may be able to afford that land. You may be wanting to put a car wash or some other small business venture there, but you have to do your research and homework on that property before you buy it. And we see it. I was part of a vote one time before where there was a young lady bought a property. Check this out. She bought a property in between two commercial properties. And the one in the middle was zoned, if I remember, it was zoned either like rural or something, maybe R1, R2, somewhere in there. But on both sides of her, it was zoned commercial. She bought that property as an investment property. And it's up to us in these seats to say, hey, we want to rezone it. But that sister lost out on that property being rezoned for a commercial development. And I fought, my fellow council member, African American at that time, we fought for to come back in, and we debated that. We lost that debate. And I remember having a real heart to heart conversation with her and saying, look, we tried. Honestly, we tried. We fought with you, but don't give up. Ultimately, time we give up. So sometimes you got to come back. You got to see the change in government, and you got to come back. Hands change when voting comes around. That's why voting is so very important, especially in these smaller communities where you can get in and educate folks on that, Black or white. Sometimes need that education, both of them. So, but
Okay. And so,
ultimately, though, we got to show up. Just show up. Just find out. My advice to people out there listening: it don't matter where you live at. Show up to those meetings. Sit in those meetings. Learn and listen to what's going on. Don't listen to the rumor mills on social media. Go to those meetings. Go to your local city, town council, county council, school boards. Go to those meetings and listen and see what's going on, because you could learn so much in there. You can learn not only about those folks that represent you, but you also can learn about what's coming, what the vision is, so that you know how to better set yourself up for success, you and your family.
okay, okay. So when it comes to you working with the school board, I know the curriculum has changed so much since we was in school. and I don't think a lot of parents understand the curriculum now. And so, what are some things that they're doing in the school board to help parents better understand how it's changed over a period of time?
Well, I mean, as far as so, let me talk about my involvement with the school system here. I am very visible in our schools here in Blackwood. I'm so visible that um, um, when things do happen, oftentimes I get reached out to just to have conversations with certain folks. I have two interns now from one of my high schools in my office. They keep me abreast of what's going on through other channels, private Facebook groups and things, so that I can have these conversations with our young people. When we start talking about the intermingling of school board to local government, sometimes your local government is not connected like that to the schools. We have to get integrated into those systems. One issue that we're having here is, and I'll put it out here because I'm a representative, and we probably got some trolls watching because everybody don't like me, but I'm gonna say it. I got colleagues that are scared to death of our young folks. Yes, our young folks are out here. We can say it. They wilding out sometimes. We get it. But when we look back at every generation, we all wild out in some form or fashion. And what we have to do as leaders in our community, we have to come together. We have to figure out the root cause of why they're wilding out. You remember Jacob and Connie, we had recreational opportunities in our communities. We had opportunities just to walk down the street to play pickup basketball games. Or we see an empty field, we had football games. We ain't wear no gear. We had real street games going on. We won some, we lost some. We might have had some little pushing and shoving, maybe had some fights a time or two. But what we didn't do in our communities is shut everything down. Our communities did not shut down because a few kids had a fight. That's what we're seeing now, is that fear, because us as adults, us as leaders are not present in the school system. I made it a point during my administration to get in the schools, get to those school board meetings, make sure I know these school board members that are elected. But most importantly, make sure that I connect to students. I go meet with student council at the high schools. I want to know what's going on. I walk these school hallways. I go eat lunch. I want these students to see, okay, I'm real. I'm real. And if the students have a suggestion, come talk to me. Let's work together to find a solution so that we as a community don't shut our doors and shut you out from discussion. So that's one of those main things I want to focus on. And I want to get across to your viewers is, from an elected side, we don't know it all. It's like emergency management, Jacob, for me. As great as I have been, as many awards as I have won, I'm nothing. Okay. I am nothing without a great team around me, a great team of other folks that have the expertise, the mindset, and the knowledge to help me understand and make more informed decisions. It is the same way as mayor. If you don't have a team around you, you're not going to be able to accomplish that. So getting in there with the school board, those are things that we have to want to do as leaders, is connect and find out, not do it for buzz, not playing word spaghetti, not out here trying to get clickbait. Do it from the heart. There's a lot of things I do that never get televised. Never.
Okay. I turn it over to you, man.
All right, before we keep it going, everybody, please subscribe to 910 SNE. Shout out to our partners in 810 Studios and DJs United Radio.com. So I just wanted to at least throw that out there. So, Mayor, I want to ask you this question because, over the last couple of years, it's been a lot of chaos when it comes to the politics that's been reigning out in America. So, but we don't really talk about the local stuff, is, how it affects the local cities and counties and whatever. So how is this, what's going on, whether it's the gas prices, whether it's economy, how America, how United States is being ran by a certain person, how is it affecting your city?
Well, I'm going to try to keep it a little bit PG because I still work on that end. Um, I work my ass off to get to that end, so I don't want to lose it. But I do have my opinion. Here's my opinion on things, and I think I run my shop like this. You got to look at what's important to you, Iconic. You got to you got to start and say, okay, what are the key things in my household that matters to me and my household? And then you start coming out. That's how I look at things. When it comes to measuring the tempo from what happens up top and how it trickles to the bottom, um, my personal feeling on that is that it gets a little toxic. Before, I think we had a little bit more cohesiveness and how to work together as a unit. I think politics right now at all levels, whether it's DC or to the smallest town in USA, it is somewhat falling apart because there's no reasoning between the two. As a black man, I often get sit in a room and it's like, oh, you are automatic Democrat. Well, who said that? Why do I have to walk into a room and justify who I am from a political stance, a political party? Why can't we just work on the issues? So if infrastructure is an issue in your community, if roads fixing all these damn potholes around here in South Carolina, if that's an issue, let's focus on how to fix those potholes. It's going to take all of us. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican or Independent or Green Party, it's going to take all of us. And the biggest thing, and I'm seeing it close to where I'm at now, where we bog ourselves down with stupidity. We bog ourselves down with things that don't even matter to you, Iconi and King Jacob. It doesn't matter. I mean, like some of the things I have had to deal with is I believe that maybe some of the rhetoric that comes from the top has opened some doors that may have been closed, maybe in the form of racism. Some of those doors have opened up to where people feel a little bit more emboldened, where people don't want to work together on issues. In our community, as blacks and whites, we got to coexist together. Black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, we got to coexist together. What I'm seeing here is people. Here's the temperature on the ground. Affordability. You talk about gas prices. I drive a diesel truck. Diesel this morning $4.99 a gallon. Okay, so you talking diesel? Let's go to gasoline. I got seniors in my community that I keep up with. All right, and you got seniors on fixed income. How in the hell can you afford to pay for gas to get to and from the doctors? How in the hell can you pay for food on your table? With the food banks need help. That's where we at. So the things that we're having to deal with as local leaders, they may not come to us in a council meeting, but if you out here as a leader in your community, you definitely hear about it. You definitely have people that's asking on utility assistance. I sat in a meeting with the utility provider about 2 weeks ago. I learned something else. If I got a senior need some help, I learned what to do to get them help to pay their bills. That's what you have to do as a leader. So you get these things come down the pipeline with food. I have an excellent relationship with our 3 food banks here in the area. If something is needed, let's go get them a food box. Now, connectivity to paying utility, paying rent, even getting cars fixed, jobs. Jobs are not, although places are hiring. One thing I found out with the younger folks is that jobs are hiring, but they're not hiring like they used to, Jacob. When me and you and Iconic, we could go out there and get a job at Dairy Queen in a heartbeat, McDonald's in a heartbeat. It's not like that now. So I think the economy and people are scared to make those investments. I'm going to jump on something else, and I hope I'm not taking up your airspace, but entrepreneurship. You got folks out here that want to start businesses. The affordability to go lease a spot to start a business is crazy. The prices are outrageous. How in the world can you afford to pay $4,000 a month starting out? That's crazy. I mean, so if you want to open up a bakery or something, a barbecue place, you already 10 grand in the hole, and you hadn't sold your first barbecue sandwich. We have great folks in every community around here, around the United States. I can talk about places I've been. I've been all over this great country. On my other end with FEMA, I've been around this country. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and in between. And my job gets me that front row seat to talk to communities to see how these communities survived before the storm, and then how we're going to put a plan together to survive after that storm. And communities fail. Communities fail for lack of affordability, lack of opportunity. And then sometimes communities, they just want to stay tucked away. They don't want you to know they exist. But here in Blackwood, they know we exist. We got Scout Motors here. They're going to be building an automobile here in the next year. So we're on the map. That means jobs and people moving. Does that mean that homes are affordable? No. To the average person. Does that mean there's opportunity to come in to start a business? Yes, but you got to have the capital to do that.
All right, but I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna have one other question. I'm gonna throw it back to Jacob. We need more people to annex into the town limits, so we all have have. Hold on, let me start over. We need more people to annex into town limits, so we all have a say of what's going on. I'm not sure what annex mean, but I may maybe you know what that mean, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, and I'm looking at the comments, and Miss Cindy Merritt is one of my amazing friends, first and foremost, and supporters through this. And I can definitely tell you that she's been right there rocking with me through some of these turbulent moments that we have had. But annexation is very important. Oftentimes, like here, there's so many people live right outside the town limit. There's thousands of people live outside the town limit. They come in here, they shop, they eat, they spend their money here in the town, and we benefit from those extra layers of taxable revenue from them. But oftentimes that annexation is looked at as a weapon. Okay, we're still in the era of weaponizing political moves. For me, I believe everybody should have a voice here in Blackwood, whether you live in the town limit or in the zip code right outside the town limit. I treat everybody the same, but I can't speak for everybody that represents folks here in this town. I believe that opportunity should be open to everyone. But it is one of those things where folks sometimes look at it and say, hey, you're taking my land. We don't want you to tell us what to do or what we can do. I have horses, chickens, goats on my property, and I don't want to be in corporate and y'all tell me I can't have these chickens and goats. The thing that I've been telling folks is that when you have that opportunity to come into an area where you now have a voice at how a community is ran, take that chance to negotiate what type of zoning you want. Jacob, going back to your zoning question, that's a golden opportunity that if you want agricultural land to exist so that you can have chickens, goats, and cows and horses, make sure that that's in that agreement when you're annexed in. I have been fair and open to that process. Help me, help you. But if you don't speak up, then you get a universal piece coming in, which means that, hey, we're going to keep you where you at, but I want to give you extra protection. I want you to know that, hey, the protection is there. I believe that you should have goats, cows, and chickens. Now, on the other side of my of Blackwood is very urbanized. It is borders up to the city of Columbia, just about. Those folks over there, they want a voice. And let me break it down a little bit more, because I think you want me to be real, don't you? So let me break this down.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let me break this down to you on demographics here, and I'll tell you why it's a weapon. To the east side is more African American population. To the west side is more white population. Okay. The east side wants to be in all day long. The east side is what's voicing that opinion. Y'all receive tax money when I come into McDonald's and to your restaurants, or when my people come in town and stay at a hotel or two. Y'all getting my tax money every day, but we don't have a voice at what the mayor. If the mayor is doing wrong, we don't really have a voice, and our voice is voting. So I've been very intentional in opening up that, not just to the east, but to the west. I want the west to have that voice too, but I understand that the west doesn't want to come in, but the east wants to come in. So you follow where I'm going, Iconic. It tips the voting scale, potentially tips the voting scale, which changed some of the historic factors that why annexation wasn't important. It was talked about through campaigning. Hey, yeah, I believe we need to annex. Yep, we seen people. Me and my colleagues, we stood at polls, and we seen people go to the poll, mostly blacks that went to the poll, that stood out there and went to vote and were told they can't vote because they don't live in the town limit, but they license say 29016 zip code Blackwood. That's all they know. They look at it and say it's time to vote. We come in to vote, but they can't vote because they don't live in corporate town limits. Me and my colleagues stood out there and seen that, and we all say we want to fix that. But when we had the chance to fix that, we damn sure don't fix it. That's the reality. And the reality of that is we've been dealing with a lot of shenanigans up here. Change of form of government, from the strong mirror to the weak mirror form, because of different lies and accusations that were put out there. But I can bet you this, if annexation existed, in that if they did not move the voting scale, the vote to an earlier date from November, that wouldn't change. So we're in a society, Iconic, where rhetoric, to your main point, rhetoric, okay, the rhetoric that's put out, people believe it. They don't need proof. They don't need facts. And if you show them the proof and facts, they don't care. They don't care at all. So that's where we at as a society. Do I have hope? I do have hope. Elections come every 4 years, and you got a chance to get out there to vote, to put people in that really represent you, that really want to work for you. Then you have to go out there and vote. That's why voting is so important.
Hey, Jacob, I wanted to ask you and the mayor a question. I'll let you take back off after this, but I wanted to ask you and the mayor this question. So I seen this guy the other day. He's on TikTok or Instagram, and he said that, mainly on TikTok, he said if the Nolan Wells guy, if he was unalived by 3 black boys, we wouldn't bat an eye as black people. But the fact it was 3 white boys, we put more annex on it, more onus on it, because we want to make it a racial thing. And my thing is, and one thing about our community, we have a bad thing of, unless it's our favorite rapper getting unalived by his ops, we don't care when it's just the normal black kid getting, when it's a black on black crime thing. We could care less. We just move on from it. But when it's the other side doing something to us, now we want to be up in arms. So I just want to get y'all thoughts on that, especially you, Jacob, and then from Mayor, from your position, how you look at stuff like that. Turn your volume up. Your volume off.
Oh, okay, so you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a whole lot of people don't pay attention to something crazy happen. So we have to more be paying more attention to looking the statistics of how many young black men have went to jail in the last 6 months. What type of crimes are they committing? And then when it's uproar like this case you're talking about, I don't think it's not more people not paying attention to it that's black and brown. I think black and brown people are so frustrated they don't feel like no justice is going to be served and nothing is going to get did about it. And so a lot of them you know just don't say anything. They just look to see what's really going to happen. And because this has been happening for quite some time when it comes to black men and black women, you know, um, getting unalive, and black people feel like there's no justice being served, and they feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, then it'll be all type of justice coming out the woodwork. And so I think they're really frustrated emotionally, mentally, spiritually, um, um, and they have so much community frustration. You know what I mean? Because back when we was growing up, you could name older guys and aunties that was on that front line and just stood 10 toes up, and they were gonna stand tall. They will stand up, and that's what they believed in. But nowadays we don't have that, and so a lot of old and young, black people are really frustrated with our government, whether it's local, statewide, or whether it's nationally. They just frustrated, and they don't feel like nothing is going to be done, because they got what we call population control that's going on right now, and they don't feel like anything's going to be done. So that's just my take on it.
Good Lord, no, we can't just have Al Sharpton. I hate to say it like this, but Al Sharpton getting old. We need some of these younger so-called black politicians or black leaders to step up. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely correct, and I think it's twofold. I think it's a twofold thing. I think in our community, we need to hold ourselves accountable in our community. We need to get back to some old school. I was talking with my interns, and they're much younger than me, two amazing black sisters, and I said, hey, back in the day, we didn't back talk grandma. We didn't do that. We didn't back talk our mama. Grandpa said something. Yes, sir. You went ahead and done it, whether you wanted to or not. You went ahead and done it. But we have lost somewhat of a sense of community. And I think we as leaders, whether elected or that neighborhood leader, that neighborhood big brother, big sister, I think that we in our community, we need to take ownership. We need to take ownership back. We need to figure out what mechanisms we need to implement in our communities. There's opportunities out there. I mean, we've seen it. We all took advantage of certain opportunities, whether it was the Pell Grant to go to school, some tech school to get out there to learn a trade. And while among trades, and that's one thing that was very big, Connie and Jacob, during our time, is trades. We knew everybody. Jacob, you remember Rick's Uptown Cafe in
I
Greenwood
do.
downtown?
I
Okay.
do.
So I want to use that. Rick's was that place where you could go in and you could meet that those heavy hitters in the black community. It was lawyers, a doctor, a dentist, but the brick mason, the plumbers, the electricians, mechanics, construction guys. I remember as a kid sitting at the table around these guys, and listening. And like, man, I want to be like that. I want to be, I want to learn how to lay bricks. I want to learn how to be an electrician. I want to learn how to paint. Shoes, the shoe repair side. That's my family in. Auto body, my family in. Pest control, lawn care, bail bonding, the fish market. Just being that community entrepreneur. Um, we have to get back to that in our community. We have to instill that hope to those young folks, and that's what I take the chance to do. You can't save everybody, but my theory is, if the three of us on here can grab one person and inspire them to go out to work on their goals in our community, then we done our fair share in our communities. That don't mean stop, go back and get it. Now let me flip over there and talk about knowing for a minute. I think systemically, in our race, we still in a tug of war with black and white. We all three of us on here, we know awesome people that are white. We know white individuals that will give us the last shirt off their back, that will help us through some things that need be. But I think in our society, I remember growing up, and it was still stigmas, and it was like, hey, if I was hanging out with five white guys, I could hear what my mama would tell me. Okay, I know what mama would tell me. Check in. I need to know where you at, where you going. Call me. Do all those things. So it was always that stigma from a mama standpoint, especially with black boys, that I need to know where you at. It wasn't, unfortunately, it wasn't that bad when I was hanging out with my friend Jacob. When I was in the studio, I ain't get that. I was like, hey, I'm in the studio. But if I was with my white friends fishing, it was totally different. Okay.
Right.
I think historically in our community, we know why. We've seen these cases that come up, like the Nolan case, that when something happened and nothing gets brought out of it. And I think that we still live in some of those shadows of the 1950s and 60s in 2026, unfortunately. And that's just one case. This is one thing I tell folks. That's just one case that made mainstream news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't have is how many of these cases happen on a daily. What we don't know is how many of our brothers and sisters, young, old, are being trafficked. How many are in these, been kidnapped and missing, that just disappeared from the face of this earth. So I think, you ask, what can we do and how we feel about it? I think it's a continued education and awareness that, these things still happen in today's time, to not necessarily go out here and live in fear, but be aware that here's the main kicker to this. A lot of us are unaware. We don't have a sense of surroundings. We just exist. We walk in space and time, and we don't look around us. We don't know what's going on behind us. We just exist, and you got to know what's going on with you, and protect yourself at all costs. South Carolina is a open carry state now. What the hell does that mean to us? So things like that. Do we have the situational awareness to open carry? How are we going to conduct ourselves if we are approached by somebody to say we can't carry that weapon? We need, these are the things that we need to be abreast of in our community to make sure that we are safe.
Well, Mayor, that open carry, I've been across the fence with that for a while, because I really don't think that it should be an age limit on open carry. You should be a certain age to carry, because I know some young boys that carry. I got a nephew to carry, and he don't need to carry because he ain't responsible enough. You know what I mean? And
See,
go ahead.
I think that's one. I think that's one of the issues. When you got those types of laws in place, and you got young folks around here at 18 that's carrying, the laws gives you that purview to open carry. I think sometimes things are set up in society, and that's how I looked at open carry as a setup. I got my concealed weapons license. I'm still gonna keep that license up. I'm gonna make sure that I have twofold. Yes, your law say I can carry openly, but I got your concealed weapons permit too. But here's the thing too. I don't agree. I'm follow with you, Jacob, and I don't know how you feel about that, Iconic, with the open carry piece. But I think that those are contributing factors into our society that sets us up. It sets us up in a straight line. Yes, you can carry, but now you're carrying a weapon doing a crime. You could have just got to fighting with somebody, but you got a weapon on your side. And you not even pull it, but that could be an extra charge because you presenting a weapon doing a crime. Like it all depends on, in the eyes of the law, how that is looked at that time. But that's Jacob. I'm right there with you on open carry, brother.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because my brother worked for Lexington County Sheriff Office. You know what I mean? Been down there. This pathway was 19 years. So and he tells me all the time, you know, the open carry is kind of is real outlandish because if you're going to carry a gun openly, then you you need to know the law. And most of these young people they carry guns can't even spell law. You know what I mean? They can barely spell it. You know what I mean? Because they don't. Because me and I can't talk about this all the time. And he states all the time the reason why a lot of our young black men end up in jail because they don't know the law. Ain't nobody taught them how to conduct themselves around a police officer. You know what I mean? Do you know how to be a calm and rational person when you're in front of a person with a badge? Do you understand that just like you trying to make it back home, they trying to make it back home to their wife and kids too? And so I just think that open carry just it's not soothing to the minds of people who don't have no intellectual process. You know what I mean? And so I can't. What you think, man?
But, well, I'm gonna say this to y'all. Think about the Carmelo Anthony case, and the people who think he's guilty. Whether you think he's guilty or innocent, I'm just gonna go for the people that think he's guilty. The reason why a lot of people think he was in the wrong because they're thinking, why do you have a knife to begin with? At the end of the day, let's just say he would have been going back and forth with these young men, and they would have got to fighting, but there was no weapons involved. Then he might have, let's say he got beat up, he beat them up, whatever. Then maybe, everybody would have went home, maybe a little bruised up, egos bruised or whatever, but everybody would have went home. But the fact that he had a weapon and decided to use it, like you said, Jacob, at the end of the day, a lot of time when you're 18, 19 years old, you getting a gun just because you feel like, oh, I want somebody to try me. And I'm gonna say this before you jump in there. I watched this thing on Charleston White, and a lot of people don't like Charleston White, but he's a very intelligent man. And the way he goes about it is crazy. But he said when he went and got his permits for his guns, because every gun he got is licensed, he said he went to the classes. He said a lot of people was in there was asking scenarios on if I did this, would I get away with it on this reason or that reason or whatever. So in other words, he realized that a lot of people were looking for a reason to shoot you under the circumstances they'll get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking about that open carry thing, it's very tricky. But go ahead.
No, you hit dead on it, brother. I got friends that teach those classes. I sit through them classes. I go in scenario based. You might as well take off all the other pieces of how to operate a weapon. Everybody in there asking, well, if I'm in Walmart and I see somebody arguing at the checkout line and then they get to fighting and, if I pull my weapon, can I? No, I told folks like this. I come here, you smile, and I will tell you how I told folks. This is how I look at that scenario. I'm gonna be blunt. I hope they don't put you up. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me at that checkout line.
Yeah, you're right.
That ain't got nothing to do with me at that checkout line. Okay, especially let's put this in place. If I got my kid with me and we going to Walmart because he want a toy, and I see that scenario, I got two options, brother. Go on over there, get that toy. It's 50 other checkout things, but probably ain't but two open. But go on and get that toy. and check out and get on out, or turn around and walk out the store.
Mhm.
Because guess what? The most important thing to me at that moment is the safety of my kid with me. So the only time I'm going to interact with pulling anything is that if my kid is in direct danger and I'm trying to get out the way. That's what I have. I'm going to live by that till I'm going off this earth. Now, there may be some other scenarios that you can jump in and help save a life, but you got to have the emotional intelligence, as Jacob said, to jump in there and do that. I know a guy here at Killian, he jumped in to save somebody that had a knife pulled on him in Walmart. That's what I'm using. He hit him upside the head with something at the front door he got a hold of, disarmed him. You follow what I'm saying? So there may be scenarios and situations, but that whole open carry doesn't make you Batman running through the town to just try to find something to get into. And when we watch TikTok and all that, we see that. We see people being rescue Randys. You see some that mess around and get unalived on some of those situations, or else they put themselves in a legal battle because they don't know. So I'm going to end and land this plane on this one. What we need to do in our community, I'm going to turn this back full circle. A lot of my weapons guys that are trainers, I got a federal weapons guy lives here in Northeast Columbia, and they do tactical training. It's an all black group. They teach you all the tactical ins and outs, not to go in Walmart and stand on guard, but to protect you and yours. To build a safety network in place, that if you need training, it's there. If you need to know the law, they're there. They got lawyers in this group, and they all about teaching you how to first use your weapon safely, knowing the laws behind it, but also spending time with your weapon. What I see a lot of is people own weapons. You ask folks, when the last time you've been to the range? You haven't. So you got to get out there and practice with these weapons, become comfortable and familiar with them, and before you actually out here open carrying, because open carrying ain't gonna help you if you don't know how to use your weapon properly.
That's right.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. We definitely got to have you back. Now we're gonna do the sports show with you, so we can get on Jacob about them Cowboys. But but we definitely.
Don't you ever, I'm speaking in the mic, don't you ever wear that hat back on the show again.
Hey man, listen, man. Hey, you should already be used to it, because we everywhere. We ain't going nowhere.
That's all right. Look, when y'all come back to Charlotte, don't worry about it. I want the iconic, bring me back on the show post game. Carolina Panthers versus Cowboys, because last year they got
we'll do.
Man, y'all must have LaMelo Ball quarterback in there.
Oh man.
Man, I appreciate you coming on and giving your time. We gonna have you come back also, talk about more of these topics, because I know it's a lot more we could have got into and dug our teeth into. But we on a time crunch ourselves over here, for to try to make sure we fit the time frame for the radio and Roku stuff and all that stuff we be doing. So, but I definitely appreciate your time and got a lot of great insight from you, and that's what this is all about at the end of the day. So I just whatever we could do on our end, support what you got going on. Just let Jacob know, and then we'll do whatever we can to be there for y'all.
We appreciate it. Hey, thank you having me on. Thank you for having me here with 95 South. I appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to coming back on to some future shows. And Jacob,
yes sir.
My regards to the family, my love back to hometown. Appreciate you, brother. Let me say this before I get off of here. Iconic, I'm proud of this brother right here. We've been in the trenches when ain't nobody know our names. We've been out there pushing and moving. So I'm so proud of you, Jacob. I want to end on that note. I'm proud of you.
Man.
and keep
I
them.
Yeah, he
appreciate you,
alright.
brother.
He alright. He alright. Nah, but all right, y'all. Yeah, have a good night.
Blessings, man.
Jacob told me to read that off the strip, so
He paid you for it. He paid you to say that.
Hey, man, I can call him Rich Paul and just call me LeBron. Yeah,
All right, y'all.
all right.
Brown skinned girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind. The girl, she's